All right, let's talk about B2B sales in Nepal. So much of it starts with that classic Chiya, right? That informal meeting over tea. It's where relationships are forged, and frankly, it's where deals get done. For generations, this has been the engine. But here's the thing. As companies start to think bigger, as they look to really scale, we've got to ask a pretty tough question. And this quote, wow, it gets right to the heart of the challenge, doesn't it? Look, this isn't about throwing out tradition for technology. Not at all. It's about a fundamental choice that every single ambitious company in Nepal is facing right now. Are you going to stick with the comfortable routine, or are you going to build a system that's designed for explosive growth? So let's really dive into what that means.
Okay, so first up, we need to talk about something called the founder's trap. It's a classic situation. You see, the founder's network, their charisma, that's the magic that got the company off the ground, right? But then something flips. That same magic, their greatest asset, actually becomes the biggest bottleneck. The thing is, every single major deal has to go through them. The entire sales engine, it's literally tied to one person's brain and how many hours they have in a day.
And what's so dangerous about this trap? Well, it creates what investors call key person risk. And believe me, this is a huge deal. Think about it. If your entire ability to make money depends on one single person, their health, their presence, their network, your company is unbelievably fragile. If you're looking for serious investment for capital to grow, this is a massive flashing red flag. It pretty much makes you uninvestable.
And this slide just lays it out perfectly. You've got two models here. On the left, that traditional person-dependent model we've been talking about. Growth is capped. All the knowledge is in one person's head. On the right, you have a system-dependent model. It's built on a process, it's scalable, and the intelligence is a company asset. Honestly, moving from that left column to the right column, that's the whole game. That's the strategic goal right there.
So, the big question is, how do you actually make that move? Well, it all starts by de-risking your growth. It's about taking that founder's personal magic, their secret sauce, and turning it into a formula the whole company can use. This is all about building a machine that can run and grow, even if the founder decides to go offline and climb a mountain for a month.
Because without that system, think about what happens. Your total addressable market, your entire potential customer base, is basically just the founder's phone book. You're completely stuck. Want to expand to a new city where the founder doesn't know anyone? Good luck. Your growth is capped not because there isn't demand, but simply because of the limits of one person's social circle. It's an artificial ceiling.
So here's the solution. You have to break down the art of sales into a science. You build a system, and yeah, this is usually a CRM, that maps out the entire process into clear, repeatable stages just like these. Suddenly, sales isn't some mysterious intuition that only one person has. Nope, it's a playbook. It's a process that anyone on your team can learn, execute, and get good at. And that makes it delegable, manageable, and, this is the key word, scalable.
Okay, but it gets even better. Let's talk about how this creates a massive competitive advantage. In Nepal's B2B market, good, reliable data is, well, it's incredibly hard to come by. It's almost non-existent. So a CRM, in this context, isn't just a tool to manage contacts. It's a data generation engine. It builds a proprietary asset, your company's own unique, high-value map of the market that nobody else has.
I mean, look at this. This slide just shows the night and day difference. On the left, you've got the old way, forecasting by gut feel. Yeah, I feel good about these deals. We should close a couple this month. We've all heard that, right? But on the right, that's a precise, data-driven forecast. It's based on actual historical win rates. This one change, it completely transforms everything, from how you plan your finances to how seriously a bank or an investor is going to take you. And once you have that data, you can finally start calculating the metrics that actually matter for growth. I'm talking about things like the customer lifetime value to customer acquisition cost ratio, the CLV to CAC. Sounds complex, but it's simple. You know exactly how much a customer is worth to you over time, which tells you exactly how much you can afford to spend to get a new one. You stop guessing about your business model and you start scientifically engineering your growth. It's a total game changer.
Okay, I know what some of you might be thinking. But wait, systems feel so impersonal, especially here, where everything is built on relationships. And that's a totally fair point, but it's actually a misunderstanding of the goal. The idea isn't to replace that personal connection. It's to build on top of it, to create something even more powerful and more durable. Institutional trust.
Just imagine this for a second. Your top salesperson leaves. It happens. The replacement picks up the phone to call a key client. But instead of that awkward, "Hi, I'm the new guy," they pull up the client's entire history in the system. They can say something like this. They know every past conversation, every pain point, every little detail. The client, they don't feel like they've been handed off to a stranger. They feel like they have a relationship with the company, not just one person.
And that's the whole point. Right there, this institutional trust makes your company incredibly resilient. In a market where good people are always on the move, this is huge. When an employee leaves, your customer relationships and your revenue pipeline don't just walk out the door with them. That knowledge stays. The customer gets a consistent, high-quality experience no matter who they talk to. And that kind of reliability, that becomes a major selling point all on its own.
So this really brings us to a strategic crossroads. This is an inflection point for every single B2B leader in Nepal. And honestly, the choice you make right now is what's going to separate the real market leaders of the future from the companies that get left behind.
And just look at this table. It lays out the two futures so clearly. You've got the path of stagnation on one side. It's opportunistic, it's comfortable, but its growth is capped. It's fragile. Then you've got the path of systemic growth. It's strategic, it's predictable, it's attractive to investors, and it's resilient. When you see it like this, side by side, the stakes really couldn't be any clearer, could they?
But let's be really honest for a second. Here's the hard truth. This entire transition, it's not about technology. It's not about buying some fancy new software. This is a test of leadership, plain and simple. It requires a founder to completely shift their mindset, to go from being the hero who personally closes every big deal to being the architect who built a machine that can close deals long after they've left the room.
You know, the tools, the CRM platforms, the strategies we've talked about, they're all out there. They are more powerful and more accessible today than they have ever been. So the technology part is solved. The only question left is for the leaders at the top. The technology is ready. The real question is, are you?